Assalamu alaikum, good day everyone, and this is Mohammad Nasim Firdaus Shajid here to narrate this particular slide narration. And today we are having conversation in daily life, use of functional languages in English. I have always been fascinated with the application of of a language whenever uh, any person wants to learn a language, especially in English language. I am very much in favor of applying languages in daily life along with learning the language. So from the part of that ideology, from the part of this of that motivation, I am here with some strategies, some manners to apply in daily life conversation. And of course, speaking is always very complex in terms of showing expression, in terms of maintaining relationship. And in that era, if you choose wrong language, if you choose the wrong pattern, then that particular conversation will not help you out to carry on the conversation, or to carry on or to achieve the goal which you want to achieve from the conversation. So that's why I am here with the conversation in daily life, use of functional languages in English. In this particular slidation, I'll be talking about the different functional languages which can be applied in daily life English. So let's start with our contents. So here are our contents. So we'll be starting with the objectives as usual, and definitely we will have introduction which will introduce this particular topic and give us some brief about the slides to come. And then we have four major sections, and those are expressions in conversations, asking for directions and explaining to it, thank you, and the responses of thank you, and expressing and condolences, and the responses of having the condolences, and of course there will be conclusion in the end. So I would like to recommend you to sit tight and listen very carefully to the next slides. And in the meantime, or in between slides, if you don't feel comfortable, then I would like to suggest you to give it a pause, because that's the amazing part of online learning. You can always pause it and play it whenever you want to. So but to not carry on the slide narration without having proper attention, because you'll find it boring, and you will find nothing to learn if you do so, because you will not be able to synchronize the information. All the slides are here are very much affiliated with each other. So that is why my recommendation is to uh, uh, listen and act, not only listen but also act. So I believe you have your copies, you have your kata and pen and pencil to write it down, or of course you can use digital exercise as well. So let's start with our objectives. What are the objectives we are going to achieve at the end of this particular slide narration? So here are our objectives: showing expressions through conversations. If you carry on this slide narration, I am repeating, carrying on. That means not only listen, but you have to comprehend these things, and you have to act, and you have to practice. So all these things all together, if you do these things, you will be able to show expression through conversation, and you will be able to ask and provide directions, and you will know the proper manner to gratitude, and what to respond, and of course the expressions you need to show during condolences, or during whenever you have lost someone or something, or you are in trouble, you're suffering in those kind of situations, you will be able to express yourself, and of course, so you will be able to respond as well in real life. Okay, so here is our introduction. So in introduction, what I wanted to show is that all our thoughts, all our beliefs, they are connected to each other, and they actually synchronize information and between the persons who conversate each other, because the information are really depend on what we saw, what we read, and what we heard. And the beliefs, they are connected with our attitudes, and they are connected with whether the information is true or false, whether we like it or not, whether they are good or bad in terms of societal responsibilities. So all the things are dependent in order to show you expressions in a conversation. So you need to carry all this information all together. But one thing is that you do not need to worry about this. These all informations actually automatically comes up to your mind. One particular thing, or one particular question which I usually get from my learners is that how to carry on yeah, a fluent speaking, like a native speaker. What makes us fluent? I believe you need to have two things. And number one, you need to have proper words and vocabularies which are going to come in order to continue your speech. And in order to do that, you need to have lots of English words, and those words should not come into your mother tongue, like in your Bangla. Rather than, you should carrying and those ideas, those informations, and those words in your brain in English. So that will help you to carrying your message in English, as rather than translating from your uh, native language. So when we express feelings, we communicate our emotions, and expressing feelings is a difficult part of verbal communication. First, we actually feel, and then our feelings convert into a verbal message as in our brain. So we actually generate emotions and feelings and so in our brain, and then we try to convert those feelings and emotions into verbal communication. And that is why whenever we try to apply those in social norms, we need to know many questions. We need to have the answers of how, why, when, and where, and to whom. Right? Or elsewhere, we cannot show our expressions properly. You can you can you can just evaluate or just your different social emotions, and you can easily identify. I believe that you will be identifying that all the emotions and the expressions of those emotions are not similar. So you will find different emotions in different contexts, and you showing expressions and emotions will be different as well. So we can see four types of verbal expressions. First one is observations. Whenever we observe something, and we bring that observation to our conversation. For example, Pauline asked me to bring this file to you. So Pauline asked me to bring this file to you. That means it was an incident before this conversation, and you are carrying your observation and a report of sensory experiences or memories into a conversation. So you are showing one kind of expressions in here in the conversation. And then third, conclusion about or judgment of experiences and observations. So you had an observation, now you came to a point, came to a conclusion, you came to a judgment, and then you are developing your speech. And that is, students today have much less respect for authority. So maybe you have some kind of experiences about those, and based on those experiences you have come up with this idea, and those kind of things we will refer as thought, one type of verbal expression. Feeling, communicating emotions, definitely you will be producing emotions in conversations, and somehow you want to show, not only through your facial expressions, but also through your verbal expressions. And you can do that by saying, I feel at peace when we are together. So this is one common expression, and definitely we develop and produce and express many expressions like this one. And whenever it comes to show or express our feelings. And the need, stating wants or requesting help or support. I am saving money for summer vacation. Is it okay if we skip our regular night out this week? So look at this particular sentence. For example, if we want to produce a context, the context is one friend is asking to another friend for a summer vacation. No, not summer vacation, but a night out. And that particular person, I mean person A, he is not interested because he knows so if he goes for a night out, then it will cost some money. And as he is saving money for summer vacation, so he don't want to go there or spend his money. So that's the time he produces this kinds of sentence utterances. I am saving money for summer vacation. Is it okay if we skip our regular night out this week? And another thing you can learn from this particular sentence is that the phrase saving. Is it okay if we skip our regular night out this week? Or rather than denying directly, this person is denying with a polite uh, responses. So this is the thing I would like to show you all through this slide narration. You need to be polite, you need to judge the situations properly, because the way language has the power to connect each other, it has also a power to separate people from each other. So that is we can say language is relational. That is why people can come together, and the reality is there, but it also have this kind of sense that it can separate people. It can separate people if the message or if the delivery is unsupportive or divisive, if the message is contradictory, if the message is not acceptable, then it will separate people through its power. Yes, through its power. I should yes, power is the right word. I should tell you that. Okay. Now we are going to the mainstream, and we are trying to showing expressions in conversations. And in terms of showing expressions in conversation, and the speaker needs to be more specific in order to express properly to the other person, and in order to communicate each other, less ambiguity. I mean, if you are less ambiguous, and then your emotion will be properly expressed, and the person whom you are communicating, he or she should be able to decode your message properly. And that's why you need to have proper vocabulary as well. And I believe one of the ways to develop your vocabulary is to listen and read more. If you listen more, or if you read more, it will help you to uh, develop your vocabulary. And one particular example is here: happy, delighted, and ecstatic are the three words to show you that you are full of joy, you are happy, and you, I mean, if you are you're very much happy with that. So rather than adding proper adjectives, um, or maybe adverbs, we can use different and words to show our feelings and expressions. So happy is mild, delighted is moderate, and ecstatic is intense. On the other sense, ignored is mild, rejected is moderate, and abandoned is intense. So you need to choose proper words. Definitely you need to show these expressions in different situations. The context will decide of what to use. So you have to have these things in your mind as well. Okay, so as I said earlier, that unsupportive and divisive messages can and separate you from each other. And here is one of the here are some of the here are some examples so in response to that particular claim, and that is global levels. If you in global levels you are liar, this particular sentence doesn't only give you a sentence, it will show you the expression, it will show you the judgment the particular person have for you, and that could be I mean irresponsible, untrustworthy, selfish, or lazy. All these things or all these expressions will be depicted through this particular sentence. You are a liar. And then sarcasm, no, you did not miss anything in class on Wednesday. We just sat here and looked at each other. Okay, maybe one of your friends did not come on Wednesday, and he said that is there anything happened in Wednesday on Wednesday, and you have said no, you don't, you did not miss anything in class on Wednesday. We just sit here and looked at each other, and that is pretty ironical. I believe you already know what is what is it, irony. But if you don't know, I I don't want to ruin your surprises. I don't want to ruin your interest. Please carry on. Definitely, will know in your other courses. Irony. It represents a passive aggressive behavior linked to negative feelings. Yes, of course, we know it is a negative feeling. So you are not answering straight. You are using sarcasm or irony. Bragging of the past. I should have known not to trust you when you never paid me back the 10,000 taka I let you borrow, ignoring a current situation. So maybe your friend is asking for another 20,000, and in the month of March, or maybe July, or maybe December, and you want to ignore the situations, and that is why oh, you raised a previous issue, and that previous issue is that your friend did not paid you back that previous loan. Negative comparisons. Jade graduated from college without any credit card debt. I guess you are just as responsible as her. Feeling of inferiority or resentment. So, yes, these are pretty hard words. These are pretty rude words. So you can see one of the person, his name is Jade, and Jade graduated from college without any credit card debt. That means as I know this particular sentence or this particular expressions are pretty common in our families. My father used to say, you have done nothing. Look at that, Mister. Look at that, your friend. Y X Y Z. He have done these things. He had done these things. He made these things, but no, you did not. You did nothing. So those kinds of negative comparisons I am talking about is feelings of inferiority and resentment. And the judgmental you message, you are never going to be able to hold down a job. So it is a pretty overestimate or over yes or pretty generalized overestimated message, because it's a common observation, or a very general observation. Maybe some points you are making a mistake, and that is the point you had to leave the job. So that is the time we have this kind of utterances. So which is not good for carrying a conversation, I should tell you that. And then threats, if you don't stop texting back and forth with your friend, both of you are going to regret it. So definitely you are threatening here to the person. Then these particular signals, these particular expressions of threatening actually end any kind of productive communication. I think whenever you are in this, I mean, this types of conversations, we don't you don't want to carry the conversation, and either of you don't want to traduce communication. Okay. Okay, so in the previous one, so we came to know about the different expressions. Now we are focusing on some specific expressions of which are very much useful in our daily life expressions, and we can I can show you one of the pretty typical English conversation. Excuse me, I'm looking for the post office. Okay, go sit on, then turn left at the crossroads. It's about 100 meters on your left. You can't miss it. Thanks, you are welcome. So I think it's a shorter version and of asking for directions and explaining to it, but sometimes you might not have any enough time to do so. So maybe these short responses will be enough to get these kinds of information. So these informations are pretty much important because I believe many of you are going to pursue higher education and in a speaking English speaking countries, and that is the time these are the basic things you need to know, because in a new country, in a new place, these things are very common. We can easily point this conversation out in our society. So definitely you need to know this, but there are some points that I am going to describe it very soon. So here is another conversation between Larry and Mel, and whenever one person is trying to find Highgate Mall, so and Mel is trying to give direction. So Larry, the Highgate Mall. Let me see. You know where the McDonald's is on McKnight Road? No. Well, do you know where Ellsworth Lane is? So maybe Mel is looking for the Highgate Malls. Then in response to that, Larry responded, "The Highgate Mall. Let me see. You know where the McDonald's is on McKnight Road? No. Well, do you know where Ellsworth Lane is? Sorry, I am from out of town." So you need to have these kinds of tone and expressions in in your voice as well. Okay, tell you what. Tell you what you do. Go straight ahead here until you come to a big intersection. That's solo run. There is a light there. Take a left at the light on solo run. Go about half a mile, and then there is a kind of Y in the road, so you have to keep to the right. After that, take the first left you come to. That will be Ellsworth Lane, which takes you. I'm sorry, but I could not quite follow you. Could you explain it again a little slower, please? I would appreciate it. So another thing is that though I have, hurried, I did not hurry it. I gave proper time, but in real life, that might not be this kind of situations. It is possible that the speaker who is giving you the directions maybe be very fast to give you the direction because he or she might be high. for some other reason. So that happened in here, and Mel didn't understand, so that's why Larry needs to sectionize them. Like, sure, sorry about that. Yeah, you take a left onto Solo Run. That's the first light here on this road. Okay, so these types of responses are also necessary in a conversation. That means you are listening. So please do that. And then about half a mile down the road, there is a Y in the road, and you just keep to the right. Got that? So you need to understand the proper symbols. You know that whenever you are asking for directions, so that means you need to have proper register about giving directions, maybe some kind of signs and symbols, and maybe some kinds of things which and easily identifiable, which is pretty much needed to deliver a conversation, to deliver a direction. uh, Road, and you just keep that right. Got that? Keep to the right. Yeah. Then after that, take the fast left onto Ellsworth Lane. And Ellsworth will take you to McKnight Road. There is a light there. That's where the McDonald's is. You can't miss it. Okay. Okay. So you turn right on McKnight, and keep going, and eventually you will see the mall on your left. So first McKnight Road, then McDonald, but still it does not finish, and Mel continuously responding the conversations, and which gives you the gives Larry the marker that Mel is listening. And so that's the point. So you turn right on McKnight and keep going, and eventually you will see the mall on your left. Which mall we are talking about? The Highgate Mall. You left. Okay, yeah, and thanks a lot. Well, good luck. Thanks. Bye. Bye. So whenever they actually give the directions at the end, of course, this is a help. So in terms of providing help, you always need a note of thanks at the end. So the thing is that, is it easy? Is it easy to take part in giving and asking for direction conversations? Is it easy to ask for something, or ask for any directions, and of course providing the directions as well? Is it easy? I don't know, but you have to have this idea if you want to give directions or ask for directions. Starting conversations, getting people's attention, and offering help, etc. First of all, you need to have the attention of the person whom you are asking for the help for. Maybe, excuse me sir, excuse me madam, excuse me miss, excuse me. So these kinds of references can help you to develop uh, the attention which you want to gather from the person whom you are trying to take help. And the request, you always have to have polite request whenever you are asking for the directions, because you are asking, so can you tell me the way to, so that's this one. And of course shell, you can always offer, maybe you map, maybe you map on your smartphone, so you can offer as well. Imperatives take the second turn, as whenever you're delivering the directions, so definitely you can and use imperative sentences as in order to tell you, to tell the person about what to get and how to go. And directions, yes, of course, right, left, northwest, these directions are very important. Prepositions of position and movement next to overdoing, so these are the words which will carry on the conversation. And so definitely you need to have these things. And length of time, distance, and means of transport. Maybe it will take, it's 5 minutes by train, so you need to have proper time and distances, and you need to have this kinds of mention as well. There is or there are. Is there a post office near here? There is a convenience store on the corner. So always you need to produce a markup, and based on that markup, you need to tell the person. So okay, go there. You will find a shop name this one, or you will find a thing name this one. So these things will be important there. There is or there are. Is there a post office near here? There is a convenience store on the corner, etc. Future tense. If you get to the river, you have gone too far. You will see a big Chinese restaurant in front of you. So yeah, so that is the thing as well. So maybe you have given directions, but that person might find some wrong directions. So in the time you can aware the situations which could be you can hear the situations which might come up at the later part. Names of things that they are looking for and will see along the way. So definitely whenever if you are asked with something very specific, then you need to tell the person about the other specific things, and then carry out those specific things to the things that the person want to know. Okay, that the person wants to know. So other words to describe things that they are looking and will see along the way. So yes, definitely the choice of words, that means the proper vocabulary will help you to also wind a brand new tall narrow. So these are the things which you can easily be identifiable on a road or to going to a different places, as like this one. Different ways to saying the same thing, including British and American differences, like petrol station, gas station. So of course you need to have these things in your mind. Is that maybe they talked about gas station, but petrol station, you have found petrol station there, but you have to understand that the both of the things are same. So yeah, you may use the separate words or phrases as well. Checking or clarifying, can I check that book, etc. Checking or clarifying. So definitely you can check or clarify about the things. Maybe you can say, you can ask for the map, and you can ask for the directions, ask for the place where that person wants to go. So again, for having proper clarification. Phrases to use when giving directions doesn't work isn't possible. I'll take you there. Do you want me to show you on your face, on your phone? It will be best just to get a taxi. Sometimes we say so that just take a rickshaw and tell them to go to that place and you will be there. So that's easy. So you need to have proper ideas about all these things. Ending conversations, thanking, acknowledging thanks and good wishes for the future. You have seen the previous two conversations; those ended with a thank you note or expression. So that is pretty much important to do so. But the thing is that ultimately it is not so simple to give or ask for directions. You need to have lots of things on your mind to have a proper conversation. So how can you do so? How can you ask for information? You can do so by saying lots of phrases. Could you tell me how to get to the bank? Do you know where the museum is? We cannot find the subway station. Is it near there? Where can we find a park near here? Are we on the right road to the city center? Is this the right way to the mall? What's the best way to get to the airport? So I have produced or showed lots of the things here in the previous slide as well, and in this slide as well. This is because I want to show you the proper options. Yeah, I mean, you have lots of options to say these kinds of things, these kinds of phrases. So do not go for one particular expressions and memorize it and deliver it in real expression. Rather than, you need to have these things in your mind, that these are the other ways by which one can ask for directions. And of course you need to be very polite when you be asking information. So we are next we are here for the thank you and the responses. So definitely in the previous slides we talked about that whenever someone will help you about the directions or any kind of help, that is the moment you need to produce a thank you note. You need to have a thank you expressions, and how will you do that is will be developed in the next few slides. But I should tell you that expression of thanks, it is not a constant theory. It is not same in all the contexts, in all the languages, in all the cultures, in all the countries. It can be varied. It can be varied according to region and culture. So why do we say thank you to someone? And that could be for a gift. Maybe I got a gift, and I don't know whether you love gifts or not, but definitely I do love gifts. So whenever somebody gives me something, definitely I should say thank you. For a favor, for an offer of help, for a compliment and a wish of success when asked about their health, for an invitation when leaving a party or social gathering, for services such as being waited on a store or restaurant. So these are the general situations where people say thank you. So I think it is pretty much normal and pretty much comprehensible that these are the situations we produce thank you notes or thank you expressions. So here is one sample conversation for you. Then that is Paul and Mike. The conversation happened between Paul and Mike, and before starting the conversation, I should tell you that you need to give me this answer in forum. Is that in the previous slide I showed you about about the context of where we produce thank you expression. Now you have to tell me what is this situations. You have to produce like this one in the forum, that a sample conversation one. I think or I believe this particular conversation is based on this. Okay, so you need to produce these things in the forum. So Paul and Mike. Paul, I am broke and I don't get paid for 2 weeks. What am I going to do? If I were you, I would get a better job. Oh, why didn't I think of that? Thanks, Mike. That's a big help. Well, you had better get a loan from the bank then. No, I can't. I owe them too much already. Why don't you ask your parents? They would help you out. No, I would rather not. I would rather work out my problems for myself. You ought to ask your boss for a pay rise. Good idea, but I have tried that and it did not work. Oh, well, I suppose I could lend you some money. Really? Oh, that would be great. Thanks, Mike. You are real mate. Yeah, well, okay then, but really, I don't think you should go out so much. That way you won't be broke all the time. Yeah, yeah, I know you are right. So the thing is that whenever Paul say that I am broke, that means Paul is out of money. So that is why he was searching for money, and he did not find better option and unless Mike helped him out by saying that he is going to produce you're going to lend some money for Paul. So now look at these things in here. The note of thanks. So you can find thank you in here whenever Mike agreed to lend Paul some money. So really, oh, that would be great. Thanks, Mike. So these are the phrases you can always use. Okay, so here is another conversation two. We can say Harry Carpenter, Marilyn King, and Louis Carpenter there, and these three persons are talking. So look at the point of conversation where they thank each other. Crossing the room to where Mrs. King is standing talking to another guest. Excuse me, Marilyn, it's getting late, so I'm afraid we'll have to be leaving. Oh, Swali. Well, Harry's got to get up and drive to the airport for an 8 o'clock plane tomorrow. We have really had a wonderful time, Marilyn. Uh, say, Louis, why don't we meet downtown for lunch someday next week? Then Maylin was asking Louis about an invitation to have a lunch. So that is an offer. So let's see, Louis, I would love to. I have heard Harrods has delicious salads. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Harrods is a place where they think of going. It is a restaurant, so that's the thing. But the thing is that whenever Marilyn proposed, Louis said, "I would love to." So this is one of the ways you can say you are appreciating, and yeah, and you are having gratitude. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, I will give you a call later on and we can decide the time. Honey, all right, dear. Well, it's been delightful evening. Thank you very much. So, Louis is, I mean, and giving thank you to them because of the party they are leaving. So at the end, so this is a pretty ending situation. So that is the time during leaving time, and this particular conversation happened. Not at all. So these are the responses of thank you. Thank you very much, and not at all. I will look forward to your phone call. Thanks again. Good night. Good night. So these are the expression of thanks and the response of thank you. You can see both of them in the responses in the conversation. So I believe this will help you a lot. Okay, now we would move live to the last part, and that is expressing condolences and its responses. And I believe considering other contexts, it is a little bit complex, because whenever we are losing something, or we are in pain, or we are in a dejected mood, so that is the time we are very choosy about the words. We don't have proper words, because whenever you lose someone, there is nothing to help you to you know give you comfort. So but still we can and choose proper words, proper utterances in order to have this. And here are some tips, here are some informations which can help you out in your daily life. It is harder to comfort a grieving person. Choosing words for the bereaved is even harder for the second language speaker. So that means whenever you are choosing words for the person who lost someone or something, so that is a very tough situation. So it is important to acknowledge the loss in one form and another. So definitely you need to acknowledge as the form, um, I mean the loss. So here are some tips. It is a good idea to name the person who died. So uh, whenever you are there, that means you are caring and you are showing your proper attitude and expression. So it is better to name the person who died. If you know this person, discuss something you loved about him or her. So definitely you can share some of the experiences. But based on that experiences, you need to say proper good words about that person. And then share a fond memory if you have one. So if the person died, or the things that lost, if you have a connection with those things, you can share a fond memory. Yeah, so that will be very helpful. If you don't know the person, express sadness that you never got to meet him or her, or acknowledge the importance of this person to your friend. So that could be maybe your friend lost his or her grandmother or grandfather, and though you do not know properly, or you have not met that person, but still you can show your condolences to your friend. So that could be. Use a past tense verb past tense verb rather present. So as it is a moment of past, so definitely you can use the past form rather than the present. So these are the things many speakers make a mistake. Even the native speakers sometimes they also produce these kinds of I mean they also produce present tense rather than past tense. So these are the things you need to take a look. So common phrases expressing and responding condolences in English. So these are the common phrases. I am sorry to hear about your loss. I was heartbroken by this sad news. I will never forget when he or she, and then you can share the message. You were such a dedicated friend and a mother, sister. He or she will be sadly missed, and it is when he was the best listener, or he was always there when I needed help with the kids. I am sorry, but I am at a loss for words. If I can think of anything also to say or write. So these are the expressions, sympathy messages or sympathy expressions or condolences which you can produce during during a condolences context. And in response to these condolences you can always use this. It's very kind of you, thank you very much, it will be okay, thanks for your sympathy, thanks for your support. So these are the things, these are the responses which which you can apply in daily life, daily life situations, or in a condolences. And so here is one sample conversation for you. I have Mary and John, and we can see the expression of condolences there. Hello, John. What's that? You look dejected. What's wrong? My grandma passed away in New York, Mary. I'm terribly, I'm terribly sorry to hear that, John. How old was she? 51 this December. Then she wasn't very old. Had she been ailing for some time? So she had written in her last letter she was having a hard time with many complications. When is the funeral? It must have been over by now. So you can see that the sentences are not going to be end in some situations, and that is pretty normal. You can find my other videos and narrations where I have talked about these things. So definitely you can find that. And whenever Mary found that John is out of his words, and he started to show the emotions, so that is the time he tried to change the context, change the situation. When is the funeral? It must have been over by now. I know how you feel. Words can comfort you when someone dear to you depart. So these are the responses. These are the things you need to produce. You need to depict it in a condolence message. I know you words cannot comfort you when someone dear to you depart. So these are the sentences you should take you in your mind. Okay, so we have shown lots of conversations. We have seen lots of guides and manners, and now it's time to have more practice. Definitely, if you visit or browse textbook 3, speaking naturally, you will find lots of conversations in there. You will find that, and in textbook 1, new headway 1, you will find and tip scripts at the end of your book, and you will find lots of conversations in there. But I would like to request you two things to do whenever you will be having practices from textbook 1, is that you need to identify the context, in which context they are in order to deliver those kinds of social expressions in their daily life. So please do that. And of course the choice of languages should carry politeness, should show politeness, and your tones, your stress, and your intonations always they can always take a part, and they can always become an issue because this will show you whether you are showing your genuine interest or not, whether or you are faking it. Appreciating is as important as showing gratitude. So not only saying thank you, but also appreciating the thanks, and those things are very much important in a real life conversation. So you need to understand the situations, and you need to carry those things in order to identify those. So I believe you will have questions, many questions, in order to carry on the conversations as to your daily life. So please do the questions. Please make your questions, and you know what to produce them. So please do that. So thank you very much. You have been very patient, and from the last 51 minutes, and you are amazing. You are amazing to reach at this end, because as I believe though these things seem very usual and very normal, but you need to master that in order to produce in a real life conversations and carry your conversation. So thank you again for being here, for listening to it, and trying to learn something from here. I believe this will help you to develop your speaking skill for daily life conversation. Thank you.